Welcome to another video from Demystifying Proposals. Our mission is to break down the proposal process and make proposals make sense. This video is the third of three What's the Difference videos. In this section, we'll talk about the difference between the management approach requirements and the statement of work Task 1 requirements. But first, a brief advertisement for why professional proposal managers can really make a difference. Professional proposal managers do these four things primarily. There's other things that they have to do as well, but these are the four of the primary things that they're responsible for. Ensuring compliant proposals, driving compelling proposals, driving the schedule, and making sure desktop publishing, formatting, editing happens. But the professional proposal manager also understands the nuances in RFPs from years of reading and analyzing them. And so that's what we're going to talk about in this video. There's often confusion when an RFP includes both a management approach and the first task in the statement of work, Task 1, is program management. Management approach section of the RFP often asks offers to respond to a series of things to show how they will manage the program or the project. The first of those is often program or project management. And in this section, you would talk about your company's proven processes for managing programs or projects. Often this will include references to CMMI or the Capability and Maturity Model Integration, or to PMBOK, the project management body of knowledge, as standards your company follows to ensure all programs are managed similarly, but also according to best practices. In the next section, there's often a requirement to talk about your staffing and your organizational chart. Sometimes the RFP and the pricing spreadsheet will dictate what kind of staff the program or project requires, including both the labor categories or LCATs and the number of hours for each position. In this case, your proposal may need to either parrot that same information or explain why you think a different mix might be required. If the RFP doesn't provide LCATs and a labor mix information, then you need to explain what LCATs and hours you believe are needed to perform the work. The org chart should be designed in such a way to give the government confidence that there is line of sight for the program manager to all of the tasks, but also make sure that you show who is responsible for managing each task and who is going to actually perform the tasks. The key personnel section is often another section that's required for a management approach. Almost every RFP includes some key personnel, usually at least the program manager or the project manager. In this section of the proposal, you would need to show how your proposed key personnel meet the requirements that are required in the RFP for key personnel, usually found in section C, the statement of work, sometimes also in section H, which is additional contract requirements. Note that it's very important that you include the same information that you're using to justify your key personnel in this section in the actual resumes that you're submitting for your key personnel to make them truly compelling. The last section that sometimes is included in a management approach is transition. Transition in and transition out may be processes that your proposal has to address to give the customer the sense of how you would move into the role of contractor and how you would transition the work to another contractor if required. So how is that different than the statement of work requirement for Task 1, which is often program and project management? It's confusing because they kind of have the same name, right? That program project management is often a section in the management approach in the RFP. So the difference here is that the SOW section, the statement of work section, is asking you to describe how you will manage the project and the program as it relates to interactions with and expectations of the government. So usually this task is broken down into discrete elements that should be addressed as part of your technical approach. So things like the kickoff. When will the kickoff be held? Who will be invited? Will there be an agenda? Do you submit slides ahead of time? All of those things are how you respond to the statement of work, task one. Also, weekly status meetings are often part of this task. So how do you set up your weekly status meetings? Who's invited to the weekly status meetings? Usually the statement of work will tell you from the government side who's required, but you may want to include who you add from your side of the table, from the offerer side of the table in those weekly status meetings with an explanation as to why that person or those people are key to those weekly status meetings. So don't just include names and functions, but include why that information or why that person is important for that meeting. The monthly status report is often very included in this statement of work, task one. Obviously, that's submitted on a monthly basis. There's usually a deliverables table that tells you who it gets submitted to and in what format, PDF or Word, and it's often submitted to the core and to the CO. But you also want to address how you develop your monthly status reports. How do you get the information that you report in your monthly status reports? So that's what goes into that section in response to the statement of work, task one. So those are the kinds of things that you want to address in the technical approach to address statement of work, task one, program and project management. But you also want to make sure that there's an overlap with your management approach section. So if you're talking about best practices, for example, in your management approach, how you use CMMI or how you use PMBOK, well, how does that relate to how you set up your kickoff or how you do your weekly status meetings or what goes into your monthly status reports? How are those two things connected? Will make your proposal even more compelling if you can connect your management approach, your best practices, and the requirements of the statement of work, task one. We hope you enjoyed this video from Demystifying Proposals. If you learned something from this video, please hit the thumbs up to like the video. Subscribe to our channel and click on the bell to be notified of future videos. We love comments, so please let us know if you have any suggestions or other content you would like to see.